Hello guys, welcome to this video for Ironman tips and tricks. Let's start with the very obviously one, and that is actually skilling over doing nothing. Think about it guys. The moment that you think, hey, I want to be super efficient, I want to do this, that, tick perfect, blah blah blah, forget it. That is burning you out, don't do it. Take an easy approach, for example, right now 2 ticks, fatigue, way too intensive for me personally. But doing AFK at woods while, I don't know, cooking dinner, doing homework, in between your breaks from work, whatever it is that, float your boat, go at it. So if this is actually how you're used to do the fungi method, I wouldn't recommend it because it's actually quite time consuming. I will set a timer, of course, towards a full run over here, so we precisely know how long it actually takes compared to the older method. So, and what you also have, as you see over there, the tile that I marked, with this method you consistently lose 1 game tick between every 3 sets, like the triangle set. You lose 1 game tick over here, as you see, so 1, 2, right? So that way it's actually less efficient than, let's say, if they're next to each other in the way that I usually do them. So this location is, in my opinion, way better because the runway towards where you have to be is a little bit closer than any other method. So besides that, actually, the one thing that is a major upgrade in my opinion is it's everything 1 tile or 0 tiles in between. So you don't need to walk while you're actually doing this method, which sounds odd, but it's really tick-wise. It helps a lot. So basically it's 0.6 seconds that you save every time. It doesn't sound much, but keep in mind if you need 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, whatever it is, it's a lot. So I always drop the fungi on the ground if I over prep, let's say, right? Because the runway is way easier to go back. You never miss them once you drop them. And the nicest thing is I've never seen a person here in my entire life. Now, well, maybe one, but that might be it. So therefore I will highly recommend to do this method over any other methods. The only downside is you need to do a little bit more questing before you actually unlock this. Either you can run back to the bank over here, just use your Drake medallion for the bank, or just maybe dwelling ring or whatever floats your boat, right? So getting red spider eggs, this is one way to do it. Personally, I don't like it because you need to hop worlds consistently, very slow and whatnot. So yeah, it's a method. Maybe I recommend to only do this 13 times. So you have half an inventory for the next method that I wanted to show you guys. But this is, in my opinion, kind of slow and not really efficient. Sure, there are other methods and temple spider, freezing or whatever, barraging, right? But hear me out, this is only good for maybe like 13, and I will show you the next clip. So this is actually, in my opinion, one of the way better methods. It's actually gaining some sardine. You might think, why fish way too slow, right? Don't fish, just buy them over here. So if you actually have in Runelight, I think Swift option or whatever, every time that you actually buy something, you can buy 50 at a time. Very helpful. You can actually, these days also, I think I would do that here or the next one around, you can actually change your left click settings, as I do right here. So left click to deposit, and that way on Runelight it's way more efficient. Like you buy them all consistently like that, because we're gonna kill Spideen or whatever it is called. So for this you might actually want an Ardoin Cloak 1 and maybe a Dwelling Ring or Crafting on Cape or whatever floats your boat to a close bank, right? So the Spideen, in my opinion, are way faster, very efficient. You only need like 13 red spider eggs to begin with and a whole bunch of sardine, but you of course saw how easy it is to get sardine. So basically you do once and it automatically takes 2 and 2. Over there, you kill the Spideen, which is quite simple. I think they only have, like 35 HP. And you go to the next one. Don't worry about picking them up. Save a little bit of time by killing them or close to all of them, depending on what gear you have, of course. And FNG sucks, we don't hit. But anyway, normally I only pick it up after the whole trip, let's say, because within 2 or 3 minutes, you're kind of have done everything, if that makes sense. So this way, in my opinion, is a little bit AFK, but not too stressful, or, it's a good mix. I really enjoy this method. So if you see and scroll a little bit further along, so let's see. So once we pick up everything over here, that is about 66 in one inventory. So for the next one is blue dragon scales. If this is the method that you usually do them, I think it's not the best. Mythical is way better in my opinion, but most people have not access to it. But if you have access to it, and hear me out, I cannot stress this enough, this method is a non-experienced method, so you kind of waste a lot of supplies, let's say. So the whole rundown takes a lot. Mid-guild way faster, of course. So sure, you can pick up everything in mid-cape, but, and hear me out, this is actually way better. I will showcase to you what I actually do if I need blue dragon skills. So for this method, actually, I will say I runecraft for experience, for runes, Ironman and all, obviously. You cannot buy red runes. And every time that I do a run, and hear me out, I just pick 2 blue dragon skills. You might think, whoa, bro, what the heck, it's only 2, right? Sure, I give full clarity. If you do a whole run, it's way faster, like from mythical cape to example, Volador, definitely dungeon, whatever. You're completely right. But this method requires you to get experienced, requires you to get actually a lot of runes, red runes. So in my opinion, and I tested this out a couple hours, and I think you get close to 300 an hour, which is not bad at all. Considerably you doing actually runecrafting, if that makes sense. So yeah, give it a try. Especially if you're an Ironman, go for it. So crafting, how do you actually do crafting? Let's say you do unfinished orbs, right? Sure, totally fine. I love that as an Ironman as well. It's a very good way, especially early on. But hear me out, this is not the way that you want to do it. It's super AFK, I give you full credit for that. But honestly, actually, if this is how you do it, pay close attention to the next clips, because it will blow your mind. So while you're actually, let's say, are completed with your bank skilling, crafting, orbs, I assume you do something like this. Honestly, in my opinion, skip this whole process, because it is not worth in those 2 combinations. Not at all. If this is the way you do it, it's fine if you want to AFK, 100% sure. It's just not efficient enough in my opinion. It's just not really the Ironman way in my opinion. If you actually combine everything from making the unfinished orbs while running to the obelisk, it saves you the time actually to make them. Therefore you can do more an hour, debatable more an hour. It's more efficient, so you still get your experience while you're running, of course, and you still make them, let's say, powered up, and then you set them on your staves. Eventually I will do that whenever, right? But that's not the point of this. And just while you're running, you actually can make just consistently gain. This is maybe a bad example, I misclicked a couple of times, but hey, whatever, right? And actually make sure while you're running, consistently re-click. It's way more intensive, but it will pay off in the end, trust me. Towards 99, this is the way to go, especially if you're planning on high alking your battle staves, combined battle staves, then this is just way better for money. Anyway, So basically what you want to do is this. Most people runecraft by either using the glory and then consistently going back like this, for example with dead runes, and they just keep repeating edgefill. Sure, if you have an internal or whatever it's called glory, this might be somewhat bored in my opinion, but especially as you're an Ironman and you don't have it, this method I do not recommend actually doing, because it is so intensive. You consistently need to go either to the wilderness or the other fountain in, what is it, Hero's Cult. It's just painful and you need so many glories. It's just not fun. So basically what I highly recommend, and I cannot stress enough, is actually the next method, which is this method. For this method you have to be in the PvP area, otherwise it is not efficient enough. And the other thing is actually you need an achievement cape. It might be somewhat high recommend, especially if you're early level. This might not be for you, but check it out how much faster it actually is. You instantly teleport towards pretty much, the breach to the wilderness. And besides that, once you actually do this method, you can instantly teleport back way closer than actually the Edgeville bank. So, and from the Edgeville bank to the to the breach is also further. So this method will give you maybe 800 to 1000 more, if not even more. I think it's actually more, maybe like 1500 more an hour. So for this method, the Snape Grass is actually kind of bad in my opinion, very slow. Sure, if you're super early, this might be the way to go. Sure, I get that. You'd rather have a little bit of prayer potions than none at all. I get that, obviously. But in my opinion, just do the next clip. So just start doing your farm runs. Every time you do an herb run, maybe do the herb run first and then this one, or vice versa, whatever you want, or maybe combine them if you're super fast. But this method actually requires so much more Snape Grass. The only downside is you need the seeds, and from the seeds that you get, I will recommend to get them from the contracts, the farming contracts. That's actually a very good way to obtain them. And if you do daily contracts, let's say 5 a day, maybe less even, you should be always good to go. It is definitely obtainable to consistently do this. It only takes maybe 10 minutes longer a day, or maybe 15 longer, depending on how much you want. If you only want 1000, who cares, right? But if you want to have a lot, yeah, sure, you need to invest a little bit more. But this method, way better. So early Ironmans for construction actually run either in Varrock or in the woodcutting guild towards, let's say, cell mill, whatever it's pronounced, and back to the bank. This method is very intensive in a way, because you need staminas, you need run, you need to consistently watch whatever you're doing. And sure, construction is just an intensive skill, everybody knows that, and in my opinion it's not really worth the staminas to do this consistently, especially not if you want to go to 99 and you do this for like, I don't know how long. It's just not it, in my opinion. So this is the method that I recommend everybody. You have to be on, and watch, 26, right? You have to be in a PvP world. It's the only way that you really can do this. You want to consistently go to Camelot and actually call yourself the servant and ask him to actually do the teaks, say yes, and go back, right? The moment that you teleport back, since you have a dusk staff on or whatever, float your boat to actually teleport, boom, 52. So it actually does, you don't need to wait on him, you just go bang back. For example, if you want to have a little bit of soft clay, I would highly recommend a Varrock armor, of course, and then the bracelets. The soft clay bracelet, it really helps a lot, and I would only recommend doing this in Priv, because you can actually get 3 of them each time. Well, not each time, but as you see, that's 3. So it's really helpful. The bracelets combined with the Varrock armor actually make sure instead of mining 1, mining 3. It's just way overpowered. Sometimes you get 2, but generally speaking you get 3. It's too amazing. Actually, here's the bank as well. So therefore it's a deposit bank, obviously not a regular bank, but hey, it gets the job done. Don't forget, of course, your glory and your gemstone mine bag, whatever it is called. So you actually can get a lot of gems as well. Never hurts, right? Most Ironman, early Ironman, only pick up Guam, Marentail and runners when they approached mid-game or something like that. They completely stop picking them up or farming them even. I simply am pretty much still maxed, and I daily do a farm run here and there with those ingredients, because in my opinion I always pick them up for good rest. Why you might think that? Honestly, in the high level community it's just so much better to actually, for example, have those herbs ready before you actually do a certain PVM. So let's say you want to speedrun later on when you're higher or whatever, float your boat. This is actually the way to really go about it. So with that said, I will highly recommend that actually always do either a herb run or just pick them up with your herb sack, of course, and therefore just make yourself the good rest. It overheals, you can tick eat without losing ticks and all the things for basically, you know, reducing poison, whatnot, maybe for Zora or whatever. If you want to speedrun chat, it's very good, or things like that. Just generally speaking, it is amazing once you are reaching the threshold of exploring certain bosses that you already know, but improving them, if that makes sense. So yeah, make your good rest. It's not only for PvP, it's also for PvM. You should always do your Kingdom of Miscellaneous, in my opinion. It's never worth not doing it, solely because it takes pretty much no time at all. If you really want, you only spend like 30 seconds a day on it. You just go from 99, so 1% each day down, to, you know, 100% every day. You don't want to go once every month or something like that to it, because it's skills on day and percentile, whatever you have on that amount of days. So if I'm correct, it's going to be 100% of day 1, 99% day 2, day 3 is going to be 98% of 99, so it expeditionally goes down. So you don't want to be once a month or twice a month or whatever, or once every couple months. You don't want to do that. But basically, I think after 2 months you can, it's actually a cap, so it doesn't matter how much you have in it, it doesn't register anymore. So therefore, just daily go there. In my opinion, goal is the way to go, and set it preferably on 100% herbs and 50% on either maple or maybe gold, depending on your goal. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell